given the issues that Luzerne County has had recently with keeping track of people's hours, keeping track of their overtime and their sick days, do you think voters are naturally going to have concern that you have this in your past also where the issue was raised about?
I don't know. My records were never a question. My records were there. I think the problem now they have is they don't have records. And not to pick on Sam Hyder, but in the paper it said that he was taken to task for being on vacation and taking his car home, the company car. But his records show he didn't have vacation. Well, come on now. If you're taken to task for taking the car home while you're on vacation, then your record should have shown you were off at least that week. He said he was off, had no vacation time. My records, they never questioned whether I was at work or not. They knew I was at work every night. They knew when I was on vacation I was required to call in twice a day. When I was up in Canada, I used to take long weekends. I never took a full vacation. I'd take 3 weekends a year and go up to 1,000 Islands fishing. At noon, until cell phones come into being, I'd come off the water at noon. I'd call City Hall. Everything's okay. I would call my director, who was Ken Skaz, the director of accounts and finance. I'd say, Kenny, I just talked to City Hall. Everything's okay. That was done. So I never really got away from my office. Again, one afternoon, Joe Keating walked into my room. We had adjoining rooms, our wives. And he walked in, and I had papers all over my desk. He said, what in God's name are you doing? I said, I'm writing an ordinance. He said, why are you doing it now? I said, because we're going back Monday. Tuesday, I have to hand it to my staff to type up, and Wednesday night, I have to read at the meeting. So on the weekend for my vacation, I wrote an ordinance. I wasn't looking for accolades for that. I enjoyed it. I loved going to work, and that's why I was there every day. So if that comes up as a problem, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
Other questions from the groups? Jen?
I was just going to ask, say you find questionable spending involving people you might have worked with over the years or involved in campaigns with, how would you handle that?
I have no problem with that whatsoever. I learned something from a cousin of mine who's a state trooper, and he said to me about fixing tickets. People would call him up and say, I got a speeding ticket. He said, well, if they're your friend, they won't ask you to fix it. So if they're not your friend, don't worry about it. And that's how I feel. If they're doing something wrong, I can tell them they're doing something wrong and they should correct it. And that is my job. It's not my job to beat people up. It's my job to straighten things out. And if they don't straighten things out, then they're not my friend, they're not the taxpayer's friend, and they really should not be in that job. And that, I feel very strong about that, and I have no problem stating that.
And you would be in the office from?
That's going to be a job. That's why I only wanted it for 2 years. But if I take it on, anyone will tell you. If I say it, it is so. I will be the county controller for 4 years if I'm elected.
You gonna punch a clock or put your fingerprint?
I hope to God not.